Lions, tigers, and bears, oh, move over, Dorothy. Call us back when you have to go toe-to-toe with a dragon. Welcome, brony nerds and gamers, to Friendship Theory. I would like to take you on a trip back to several years ago when I first heard about My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. As I watched the first few episodes, I fell in love with its art style, the voice acting, the characters, and the tales. But what really kept me drawn to it episode after episode were the kinds of mythological creatures and how they related to our own world. As a longtime Dungeons & Dragons player and a lover of fantasy, many of the creatures stuck out to me. So in honor of that, I wanted to do a video that went through the different creatures and showed off their real-world counterparts, as well as comparing the two. Now, you can find a lot of this information on the Friendship is Magic wiki page on creatures, but we're going farther than that. I've dug up old scrolls and adventure journals on Wikipedia to learn the truth of these mythological creatures. So these small segments are here to highlight these creatures. I'm doing these videos in small parts because covering every single one in the kind of detail I want would be longer than the Spore episode. So where shall we start? Well, I'd like to start with the first creature that caught my eye: Manticores. In Season 1, Episode 2, the main six are journeying through the Everfree Forest. A dangerous place where trees grow, animals are independent, and weather patterns are determined by changing of atmospheric pressures and temperature. Ooh, hashtag too spooky. But regardless, the main six are in fear of the forest, in fear of the journey ahead of them and what might be found, and they are under the threat of Nightmare Moon and her unbridled anger. Unbridled. And when spooky trees don't have any effect on Pinkie Pie, a devious ploy of assaulting a creature is employed to stop them. Hence, the appearance of the Manticore. One of the first things that stood out to me was that it was a Manticore. I remember telling myself, a Manticore? I know what a Manticore is. Wait, do kids know what Manticores are? Wait, the show knows what Manticores are? That's awesome! I want to watch more of it, and you know that's basically how I became a brony. So moving on. As the ponies go in to attack the Manticore, they realize that they are not strong enough to fight the creature. Fluttershy realizes that the only way to defeat the Manticore is to realize that it's upset. So what is a Manticore? Well, my experience with the Manticore comes from many years of playing Dungeons & Dragons. I know that for some of you, you may remember the Manticore from The Last Unicorn, which if you've not watched The Last Unicorn, you should. But the general description of a Manticore is a 10-foot long, reddish lion with a slightly humanoid face, red bat wings, and a spined or scorpion-type tail. I would also like to point out that this is just about the size of a normal African lion. Perhaps a bit bigger, but lions are pretty damn big, meaning these little ponies are really little. I mean, my level of originality is probably bigger than these adorable creatures. Other than that, it would seem that the Manticores in the Dungeons & Dragons universe may have been a creation of magic, but after generations of establishing themselves as a natural creature, it's more or less a common sight in dark marshes or woods, much like the Everfree Manticore. But where do Manticores really come from? Well, you may be interested to learn that the Manticore was once believed to be a real monster of the Persian plains. As the story goes, a man was attacked and killed in what is often referred to as the Indus Valley. It's a stretch of land between what is now India and Afghanistan, but was once under the control of the Persians. As fear of the attack filled the mind of nearby villagers, another man was also attacked, but thankfully escaped. When he returned to his village, he told of the monster, a red lion with a human's face, multiple rows of teeth, a spined tail. Later on, others would claim it was the tail of a scorpion. Of course, nowadays you may not see any Manticores around, but they were not hunted. Rather, what was hunted was the truth. Presenting the Manticore! It's a tiger. It's just a tiger. You can kind of see how the confusion would have happened. Tigers were not native to the Indus Valley, and a couple thousand years ago probably would have been unknown to a remote village on the edge of the Persian Empire. This is an example of humans' ability to trick themselves into seeing things that don't exist, because we have to put the rest of the image into context. When the villager saw the tiger, he saw it as a lion, a creature that was more well known by the Persians, but didn't have the large mane that lions have. The rows and rows of teeth probably were just an exaggeration of the fear the villager might have felt, and the spiny tail may refer to the tiger's puffy tail end. Regardless, we now know that the creature the villager saw was indeed a tiger, but that didn't stop the rumors and legends of the Manticore from spreading to the west, where it evolved and took on its modern-day design. What's interesting is the creation of the Manticore came out of the fear of the creature. In the same way, the appearance of the Manticore came at a time when the main six were afraid in the Everfree Forest. It was only when Fluttershy realized there was more to the Manticore than a monster that the creature became tame. However, if you see a tiger in the wild, do not believe it is there to cuddle. That's all the time for this episode. Join us again next time as we look at Steven the Serpent from the same episode. Until next time, remember that it's just a theory. A friendship theory. Good night, everybody.